The moment Jungkook and Taehyung stepped onto the stage in Mexico City, something instantly felt different. Not normal concert different. Not big crowd different. This felt historic. Welcome back to taekook fans, the place where we talk about the most emotional, most viral, and most unforgettable moments from the world of BTS and taekook. And tonight we need to talk about what happened in Mexico City. Because armies who were inside that stadium are already calling it one of the most emotional nights of the entire tour. Before a single song even started, the noise inside Estadio GNP Seguros was already deafening. Tens of thousands of armies filled the stadium with purple lights stretching endlessly into the distance, and the energy was so intense that people online later said it felt more like a final encore than the opening night of a tour. And honestly, they were right. Because what happened between Jungkook, Taehyung, and the Mexico City crowd that night quickly became one of the most talked about BTS moments of the entire year. The screams exploded the second Taehyung appeared on screen. He walked out slowly, looking completely relaxed, wearing that calm expression that somehow always makes fans lose their minds even more. And then Jungkook stepped out. The reaction instantly doubled. People were jumping, crying, shaking their cameras. Some fans could barely even scream anymore because they had already exhausted their voices before the concert officially began. But the craziest part? Jungkook and Taehyung looked genuinely overwhelmed too. You could see it immediately in the way they looked around the stadium. Taehyung kept scanning the crowd with a soft smile like he was trying to take in every single moment. Jungkook stood near the center of the stage for a second longer than usual, staring out at the ocean of purple lights almost like he couldn't believe how loud the crowd was getting. And that was only the beginning. The opening music finally hit. Red lights flooded the stadium. Flames burst from the stage. The bass shook the entire arena. And suddenly, Mexico City turned into absolute chaos. Jungkook's live vocals sounded unreal from the very first line. Every note echoed through the stadium with so much power that fans immediately started screaming louder after each verse. Meanwhile, Taehyung moved across the stage with that effortless confidence that only he has. Every glance, every smirk, every tiny movement. The crowd reacted to everything. But what really made this night unforgettable wasn't just the performance itself. It was the chemistry between them. Throughout the show, fans kept catching small moments between Jungkook and Taehyung that instantly sent the entire stadium into meltdown mode. At one point, Taehyung walked closer to Jungkook during a transition between songs, leaned toward him slightly, and said something nobody could hear over the screaming crowd. Jungkook immediately laughed and looked down for a second like he was trying not to completely break character. That tiny interaction lasted maybe 2 seconds. And somehow, it became one of the loudest moments of the night. That's the thing about Jungkook and Taehyung. They don't even need to do anything dramatic. The smallest interaction between them is enough to make ARMY completely lose control. And as the concert continued, the energy inside the stadium somehow kept getting bigger. Fans were singing every lyric so loudly that sometimes Jungkook would pull his microphone away and just listen. Taehyung kept looking genuinely shocked every time the audience finished entire sections of songs for them. You could actually see the moment both of them realized Mexico City had prepared something special. Because this wasn't just loud cheering anymore. This crowd was emotionally invested in every second. Then came the moment that completely changed the atmosphere of the night. Taehyung slowly picked up the microphone during a pause between songs. The crowd immediately started screaming because everyone knew he was about to say something. But instead of speaking right away, he paused. He looked around the stadium, smiled to himself, then leaned closer to the mic with that playful expression on his face. And with perfect timing, he said 2 simple words, Mucho Picante. The stadium exploded. Not normal screaming, not regular concert cheering. It sounded like the entire arena physically shook. Taehyung started laughing almost immediately after seeing the reaction. He looked completely satisfied with the chaos he had just created. But somehow Jungkook's reaction made the moment even better. The second Taehyung said it, Jungkook bent forward laughing, shaking his head like he already knew the internet was going to go insane over this clip later. And honestly, he was absolutely right. Within minutes, Videos of the moment were already spreading everywhere online. Fans were replaying Jungkook's reaction over and over because it felt so natural and genuine. And from that point forward, the entire concert somehow became even more emotional. The crowd started chanting louder than ever. Jungkook and Taehyung kept stopping just to listen because the audience was practically singing entire songs on their own. Every section of the stadium moved together like one massive wave of energy. And then came another moment that fans online still can't stop talking about. During one of the slower songs, Taehyung walked toward the edge of the stage while Jungkook stood only a few feet away from him. The lights dimmed slightly, the crowd kept singing, and for a few seconds neither of them said anything at all. They just listened, and somehow that silence became louder than the music itself. Fans later said it felt like Jungkook and Taehyung were trying to freeze that moment in their memories forever. The expressions on their faces looked emotional, almost overwhelmed by how powerful the crowd sounded together. Then something happened that completely changed the mood inside the arena. The screaming slowly faded, the lights softened, and suddenly, thousands of voices began singing together. Cielito Lindo. The entire stadium joined in almost instantly, and the atmosphere shifted from explosive excitement to something deeply emotional. You could actually see the change on Jungkook's face first. He stopped moving completely. For a few seconds, he just stood there listening to the crowd sing. No choreography, no performance, no distractions, just pure emotion filling the stadium. Taehyung looked out at the audience with this expression that fans later said they would never forget. It wasn't shock. It wasn't even excitement anymore. It looked personal, like he genuinely felt connected to every single person in that stadium at that moment. The crowd kept singing louder and louder together, and neither Jungkook nor Taehyung interrupted them. They simply listened. And honestly, that silence from them somehow made the moment even more powerful, because suddenly, it didn't feel like a concert anymore. It felt like a memory being created in real time. Fans later said you could actually hear people crying around them during that part. Others said they had chills the entire time because the energy inside the stadium felt almost unreal. Even online, people who weren't there said the videos alone gave them goosebumps. And the reason this moment hit so hard is because it felt genuine. Nothing about it looked forced. Nothing looked scripted. Jungkook and Taehyung were trying to create a viral moment. They were simply reacting honestly to what they were experiencing. That authenticity is exactly why fans connected to it so deeply. As the concert continued, both of them seemed even more emotional than before. Jungkook smiled constantly whenever the crowd started singing loudly again. Taehyung kept staring out into the audience between songs like he was trying to remember every detail forever. At one point, Jungkook walked toward the edge of the stage and simply stood there listening to the fans scream his name. No talking, no singing, just taking in the moment. Taehyung eventually joined him beside the stage, and for a few seconds, both of them just stood there together watching the crowd. That image alone instantly became iconic online. Two artists, one stadium, thousands of fans singing back to them with everything they had. And honestly, moments like that are probably the reason BTS concerts feel so different from everyone else's. It's never just about the music. It's about the connection. The emotional exchange between artist and audience that makes people feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. And Mexico City delivered that energy at a level almost nobody expected. Even after the concert ended, fans outside the stadium were still singing. Videos showed entire streets filled with armies replaying the night together because nobody wanted the experience to end. Meanwhile, clips of Jungkook and Taehyung from the concert continued going viral all over social media. The Mucho Picante moment. Jungkook laughing uncontrollably. Their reactions during Cielito Lindo. The way they looked at the crowd. The way the crowd looked back at them. Every single moment felt unforgettable. And maybe that's why so many fans are already calling Mexico City one of the most emotional stops of the tour. Because for one night, it felt like everything aligned perfectly. The energy, the emotions, the music, the crowd, Jungkook, Taehyung, everything. And years from now, when fans look back at this era, there's a very good chance they'll still be talking about this night. The night Mexico City turned into pure chaos the second Jungkook and Taehyung walked onto that stage. The night thousands of voices sang together loud enough to leave both of them speechless. And the night a simple phrase like Mucho Picante somehow became one of the most iconic moments of the entire tour. So now we want to know your opinion. If you could relive one moment from that night in person, which moment would you choose? Taehyung saying Mucho Picante? Jungkook's reaction afterward? Or the emotional stadium sing-along during Cielito Lindo? Let us know in the comments below. Leave your positive comments down below. The best comment will be pinned as a sign of support and appreciation for them. Thank you to everyone who continues supporting this channel. May all your kindness come back to you in beautiful ways.